friends, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Lynette. Welcome. I am glad you're here. I am making a quick and easy dessert to take over to my parents' house tonight. My aunt and uncles are around right now, and Mom asked if I would bring something to kind of help supply dessert. Actually using my friend Dorcas's recipe, and it's essentially like a fruit pizza, but it's in like individual cookie-sized portions. We've made it several times, and it's something that's really handy to just have on hand. It's sugar cookie dough is what you're baking in the oven, and you can either buy the little logs from the store or you can make your own, whatever you decide. And then you have like a whipped topping, cream cheese, and powdered sugar mixture on top, and then you just cut up some fresh fruit to put on it, and that's it. It's so good and easy, and it's not much hassle at all. So thought I'd share that with you. I have the cookies in this container for right now. I thought I'd assemble them at my mom's house. So my cookies, or the crust part of it, I should have cut it thicker. This time around I didn't, and they definitely were plenty thin, and even though I tried to underbake them, they were still just a tad like crunchy in a sense. Maybe not completely, but my point is make sure that your cookies are thick enough so that they're more chewy versus, crunchy. And the frosting or the whipped topping part of it, you can also just spread that on by hand. It would probably take less frosting. But since I was transporting it over there, I decided to just put it in a bag and pipe it on that way. And you can put on whatever fruit you want, but I normally do something like this, maybe blackberries even. I just grabbed a little bit of fruit at the store, and they're still always a hit, and they're so fun for summer. I'm making dinner for tonight, and Nick is actually probably going to be in and out. I don't know if he'll be here for supper or not, but I had planned to make smashed tacos. I had seen this Mexican street corn salad recipe on Pinterest, and I cooked some corn, took it off the cob, and I've had that done, and I'm ready to shred my cabbage for it. And then you make like a bit of a mayo sauce to put over it, and you have like cilantro, some spices. It just looked really beautiful and colorful, and I decided maybe it'll be good. I don't know. I'm here to find out. Probably going to be the only one eating it though, unless Nick is around. He'd probably eat it. So I'm going to get started with that and see how that turns out. I will say with this recipe, I would do less cabbage next time around and more corn, but that was kind of all the corn I had, so keep that in mind when you're mixing it. I had put plenty of dressing on, and so I had to like mix in more cabbage to make sure it's not too runny, but I'll give you guys my opinion here shortly. Got a couple of jalapenos from my garden still that I haven't used, and I thought I'll add those to it. I think that would be good. I usually take the seeds out because we're not super big on spice. Okay, I'm gonna eat it straight from the bowl. It's supposed to be chilled, but the corn was already chilled. Everything was cold, so I think it's fine. That is very good. I like it. I actually think it could use a little bit more spice. And to be fair, I think that hot sauce is supposed to come into the recipe if you like hot sauce, and I didn't add that. So, but this tastes so summery and delicious. I've been waiting to share this grocery haul with you from Thrive Market. I did break into it because I needed this. I needed the bread flour. I have a hard time finding that in stores consistently. Thrive Market is also sponsoring today's video, which I'm grateful for. What I like about Thrive is they're an online resource that specialize in finding healthy options, healthy swaps for you and your family, organic. They've got things for all types of diets that you might have to be on. All of those things are available online. They always have savings on every order, and they have so many affordable, healthy options. And so things that I got in today's box, for instance, I got the fig bars. I love these. I really have a random assortment of stuff today. I've never tried these, I don't think, but I've seen others try, and I was like, I'm gonna get it. It's summertime, organic freezer pops, and they are 100% fruit juice, no added sugar. I also grabbed some more of the Rosy microfiber cloths. They have a lot of cleaning products. They've got laundry supplies. They have beauty products, not just grocery. Let's see, what do we have in here? Ah, I needed this last night. Marinara. I forgot I ordered that. I've got some organic wild blueberry spread. This is sweetened with fruit juice. So if you do want to try out Thrive Market and you never have, go to thrivemarket.com/Lynette Yoder to get 30% off of your first order and a free gift. It is a membership-based subscription service where you can sign up for, I think a year is like $59. And you can do month to month if you want, but the year is definitely the better value. And honestly, I have saved so much more than the $60 according to their stats. So if you for some reason don't save the money, they will refund it to you. I do like to get their organic taco seasoning. Grab 2 bags of organic shredded coconut. I use this a lot for my granola that I make. I got a bag of Kettle Brand air fried sea salt and vinegar. I also got some of this everyday eczema lotion. Harper struggles with eczema. Oh, and this was the freebies that they sent along with my order this time. It is a deep pore gel cleanser. And this was like a promo they had going on. So like I said, they'll sometimes have these like deals going where there's free items. And you guys know I love some of Blueland's products. I've talked about them recently. They sell some of these on their site as well. And these are the toilet bowl cleaners. I've been out of them here at home. So handy, you just throw them in the toilet and they're not chemical laden like most store brands are. So you can also get things like that. I'm going to put some of this stuff away and put those freezer pops in the freezer so the girls can have some. Check out the description box underneath the title of my video for 30% off your first order. Next up are these smash tacos. They're actually Big Mac smash tacos, and I usually just flatten them onto the tortillas, and then you're gonna fry them in a pan. You can season them a little bit if you want. The little slider size is about perfect for your smaller tortillas. These are like Big Mac smash tacos. I didn't mention the Big Mac, I kind of forgot about that, but this is the sauce that I'm putting on them from Trader Joe's, and I haven't made them in a while, so hopefully they'll be good. Big Mac sauce, the burger, American cheese, and the street corn salad. So excited. I am not a very good plater upper. So what you see is what you get, I guess. Moving on, this next recipe was one I found on Pinterest. I just had the girls and I at home, and normally the men aren't quite as fond of pasta, and so I took advantage of that. I was feeling like, I could just eat like a really yummy, creamy pasta of some sort. And I saw this recipe, I think it's called Stovetop Creamy Ground Beef Pasta. Essentially, it's sort of like a hamburger helper, I guess, but maybe not as tomatoey, although you do put some tomato sauce. I actually ended up doing quite a few different things than what the recipe called, just because I had to kind of substitute and do the things that I often end up doing. So it turned out really good, and we had leftovers. I really enjoy comfort food like this, and it was fun to make. So yeah, it's kind of like a DIY hamburger helper, if you will, and I really enjoyed it. This part was so yummy, creamy, and delicious. You could mix in whatever cheeses you prefer, but the end result was really, really good. I didn't film this, but I had made these bars, and if I remember, I'll try to put a recipe below, but there's going to be a lot of recipes to link or write out, so I'm not sure I'll get to this one, but it's a cream cheese chocolate chip type of bar, and it's super easy to make. Next day, I went to a baby shower for my friend Dorcas. They had put together a brunch, and it was delicious. They had acai bowls and some pastries and such. So I was a little short on bread for tonight's recipe, but I remembered I had some stuff from Wild Grain still in the freezer, so I baked some of those baguettes and a loaf of sourdough. I wanted to make sort of like a Philly cheesesteak type of thing. It ended up not being really a Philly cheesesteak, more of just a shaved beef sandwich, but it is what it is. I was determined to just try and kind of use up what we had. I didn't have any mushrooms. I didn't feel like going to the store for it. So I had this shaved ribeye that I fried up just in 2 batches. And you have to be really careful with it, otherwise it'll get pretty dry. But I did bake the baguettes, and then I sliced them and put them in the frying pan just a little bit to kind of toast them. I put some oil on them. Technically, this is not the best sandwich bread, for these types of sandwiches. They're plenty chewy, but like I said, I was trying to make it work. So I put some provolone cheese on top after I got the meat out to kind of have it melt. And we assembled the sandwiches, and they were good. I don't know that they were like a home run or anything. I wish I just have a tried and true Philly cheesesteak recipe, because I love those sandwiches if you can buy them somewhere. So this morning, I helped with school hot lunch. We usually have generally the same people who are doing it, like on our group, and we decided to do the same thing that we've done for multiple years, which is burgers and hot dogs, veggies, mac and cheese, dessert, drinks. And this time I said, well, I can do the burgers and the hot dogs. So I went to Sam's Club, got the burgers, and I got like the 80-20 kind. And then I got the hot dogs as well. So I was a little nervous because I am not like the best griller. We have a smoker, we have a Traeger that we've had for a couple years, and I do burgers on there, but generally it's just like a small amount just for our family. And anyway, Nick was around, thank goodness. But let me tell you, I had a near heart attack a couple times because so I think I got like 5 packs of 18, and I wasn't planning to do them all because we had, I think, around 80 or something people to feed. I knew some would get hot dogs, some get burgers, things like that. So anyway, I started off around 9 o'clock, and the goal for lunch was to serve at 11:55. So I started the grill and put them on. And when it came to flip them, by that point they're partially cooked. I then made room, put more burgers on, and let's just say did not take long for a fire to start up in the grill because of all the grease, apparently. I kind of freaked out. We calmed it down, but then the Traeger had to like reset because it had like a hot something error. Eventually we just turned it off, and you know, the burgers were partially done at that point, and I was just like, what are we gonna do? Because are we gonna have enough time? And so we started back up, and you know, I think we lost probably a good 20 minutes or more in that period of time, and started another batch. Meanwhile, I see that my pellets are running low in the grill, so Nick ran and bought some more. And just as he was coming back, I thought I had calmed down the second batch or whatever it was. I had like a spray bottle with water, and you know, I was trying to kind of keep it at bay. No, flames just shot up everywhere again, and the same thing happened. At that point, I was freaking out. We had called my parents. They have a smoker. Dad preheated that while Nick ran over with the rest of the burgers. They soon figured out, well, they're gonna need something else in order to get it done quick enough, and ran to another friend's house who had a gas grill that was close to the schoolhouse. So at this point, I was finishing burgers on the stove. My dad was trying to grill them on his smoker. Nick was trying to get the grill going at the other person's house, and this is like around 11 or 11:15 at this point. I leave the house, got my burgers done actually quicker, and I even got hot dogs done on the stove, just in my Caraway cast iron. So I got those, took them over to Dad, and his was going decently, and then all of a sudden, his also caught on fire. There's just no place for the grease to go. It's getting pretty long-winded. So I finished some of those. We finished those on the stove, and I made it to school just in like the nick of time. I don't think we were too late, maybe a couple minutes late, but let me tell you, I do not want to repeat that day. I was so stressed out, and I was very thankful for the help, because I truly didn't know. I was like, are we even gonna get done? I was like praying, like, help us get the burgers done, Lord, and you know, what are we gonna do? I was thinking, oh, these kids, you know, what are they gonna eat if this is the main thing? Like, you can't do without it. All's well that ends well. But I had a huge mess to clean up then when I got back, and they didn't nearly eat all the burgers. You know, we could have actually avoided Nick's grilling on the other gas grill had we known. You know, typical, you just don't always know. And there was just, yeah, it was kind of a long day. So I kind of have been recovering from that. And I think if we do it again, we'll split up the burgers and have two of us do them or something like that. And it just doesn't work very well on a smoker, we decided. So that was interesting. Needless to say, I did not film any of that, but that's what we can have for leftovers this evening if we are hungry. Jackson has a baseball game again, and we're just gonna kind of eat whatever we can find here at home. I'm not gonna cook. So there's that long story, just so you know that not everything goes perfectly when I'm in the kitchen. It was an interesting day. So most times on the weekend, at some point, usually Saturday nights, we'll have pizza. But we had it Friday night, actually, because we had some relatives over, my parents and some of his siblings and family. So we just ordered it from Emma's. So I didn't film it, but that's what we did Friday night. And this was Saturday morning. And honestly, I don't usually cook a big breakfast on Saturday mornings, but I kind of had the urge to. I knew I'd be leaving later in the day to go do some stuff, and I figured I might as well feed my family a little decently before I go. The recipe is the Gold Rush Brunch Casserole. And it calls to put the eggs, like pour the eggs over it without actually scrambling them. But I personally don't like doing that because it takes a lot longer to bake. And so I usually scramble them before I put it on, and you can put on whatever meat you want. Sometimes I have bacon, I'll add that. Today I had sausage and ham. And then you just have your hash browns in the bottom. And then you're going to make like a white sauce to put on top. And you're also putting some shredded cheddar cheese, preferably if you have it, but something similar could work. And then you're just, gonna top it with the white sauce, and you're gonna bake it for, 45 minutes maybe, or however long it takes to heat it all up.
But honestly, it is such a good casserole, and my kids usually kind of turn up their noses at the word casserole, but the boys especially really like this. The girls maybe not quite as much. I'm still trying to work on them with recipes that have like meat and other stuff together. Somehow they kind of just think that's not really something they enjoy. But this one is really a hit, honestly. And then I also pulled out some cinnamon rolls that I had in the freezer. I usually use the Hope's Table Cookbook, but I had not frosted them before I put them in the freezer. So I pulled them out the night before, let them thaw, and then I made a brown sugar glaze or frosting to put on top, and we had that as well. So it did feel like a pretty decent fare for Saturday morning. But yeah, ended up being good. Saturday night, I mixed together some sourdough focaccia that we could eat Sunday night. It was a new recipe. I never tried it before, but decided I would do that. I don't have a long clip, but you're going to see it here shortly. On Sunday, we got a lunch invitation to a friend's house. They are from Ohio, but they're down here quite a bit, Jim and Iva. And they also invited my parents because they're friends with them, and another guy was there. So they had Amish church lunch, which is something that I grew up with as an Amish little girl. We'd have this affair every other Sunday normally. There's meat, cheese, then you have homemade bread, Amish peanut butter, some pickles if you want, often cookies, things like that. And it was so good to have it again. And we're just, yeah, it was a fun afternoon spent eating with them. So thanks to them for inviting us. All right, Sunday afternoon is generally pretty casual around our place, and I don't usually cook very much for the evening, but, usually you want something. And so I had decided ahead of time to do this focaccia, and I was definitely inexperienced with it, but I think it turned out pretty decent. I didn't have quite everything they wanted as far as toppings, I don't think, but it was similar. I think they would have done like a Gruyere or Swiss, and I only had like a provolone type of cheese. And then you just bake it, and I should have had ricotta cheese to put on top, but I didn't. Again, you guys are going to laugh. I just never have around what I need, huh? But I used sour cream instead of ricotta cheese, and it actually worked out. I thought it was good. I don't know if the rest of the family would just like jump up and down again, but I thought it was fun. And I should have had like maybe a marinara, but I was out of it at the time.
All right, folks, that is going to conclude the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't share everything we ate, but I tried to share most of the dinner-related things and some baking I did, mainly because it was actually a pretty busy week as far as cooking for me. Some weeks we're out and about more. This week particularly, I was trying to focus on eating from home more and just trying to save some money. Also, if you are wanting to try out Thrive Market, click the link in my description box for 30% off of your first order and a free gift. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do enjoy this video, share it with your friends. That always helps me out. Leave a comment, like, subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.